Hello, everybody. My name's Tom Stoukas, coming to you from Sarnia, Ontario, on tonight, beautiful Saturday night, April 12th. Nice, relaxing Saturday night in Sarnia with the cheap gas too. Doesn't hurt. Uh, I, we're lucky. I don't know. I've heard other places in Canada have still haven't gone down to near a dollar. We hit like $1.04 today. I have to check it again. So, and about 2 weeks left, a little over 2 weeks left until the election. Uh, this weekend, it seems like today Pierre was in Ottawa doing a campaign stop. I don't know where Jagmeet was. I don't think anybody cares. And Carney took the day off, or I'm sure he was up to something, maybe debate prep. I don't know. And the it's kind of holding steady. According to the polls, Liberals still up around 6 points as they head into the debates next week. Yeah. So I think a lot of people are really going to tune into these debates to see who, if anybody stumbles, and how Carney, who's not he hasn't been in many debates, and how he does, how Pierre comes off. It's going to be interesting if there's any huge slip ups, and then see how the polls go from there. So yeah, it's kind of like a wait and see mode right now. When are the debates? Wednesday or Thursday or something? One in French and one in English. Yeah, nothing else really. Nothing but everything going on. So, yeah, I wonder where Carney is today. What is it today? Saturday? Yeah. I'm sure he's meeting with people, donors and stuff. All right. So I don't really have much to say. I'll just go to my daily X feed and see what I saw today on the X universe. It's all kind of melding into one day, like a one single, like continuous day now. They're trying to lull us. Okay, enough of that. All right. Oh, shit. All right, today's Saturday. How the time is flying. Easter's next weekend. Ooh. And the Greek Easter's on the same weekend as the regular, as the Catholic Easter, or the whatever, the rest of the Easters. So at least it's convenient. I hate when they're separate. I hate it. So this week it'd be nice and convenient to have it all at once. So happy Easter to everybody celebrating it. I don't know what the proper saying is. I know it in Greek, but I don't know it in English. All right, here's Anna Anaida Poilievre says that her husband Pierre has been fighting for immigrants. Yeah, she said this the other day, and everybody was funny. It was like dead silence. Like when she said he's fighting for immigrants, and it's like they didn't clap and they didn't know what to say. So this speaks to a bigger issue with her. Is usually the spouses are hands off in the election, and the kids. And increasingly, Pierre has put her, his wife, in the spotlight of this campaign, and which kind of like makes her not like where does that put her? Is she at a, you know, out of bounds still, or is she, is she a political player? Because she's taken a lot more high profile, and then you could say, is it, are they getting, is that a move of a confident campaign or a desperate campaign to put the wife on co-campaigning duty, you know? Or did they do a poll and the polling said, oh yeah, put her up there? So there's pitfalls. There's good advantages and disadvantages. The advantages is it gives Pierre, shows him he's, he's a young, him and his wife, they're a young married couple with young kids, and, people can relate to that. The downfall is it leaves you open, to like, are you using the family thing just as a gimmick, for politics? It leaves you open to attacks. So, I don't know. Politics is a dirty game too. I don't know. I wouldn't want my family. So we might as well listen to what she says. She's Venezuelan too.
Has been doing this way more than 3 years.
She's got a Venezuelan accent. It's kind of cool.
What we need is a government and a leader for the people and by the people.
That sounds very American right there. The focus group won't like that.
But he has been doing this way more than 3 years. Pierre has been here in public service, fighting for our youth, our immigrants, our families, our seniors.
No clapping.
That is something honorable.
No clap.
So
you hear the silence there. Oh my God. Who's writing these speeches? First, it's like the Canadian Promise is anyone from anywhere can do anything in Canada. Now she's saying he's fighting for our immigrants. Like, who's writing all this? Wink, wink.
You want to film me?
All right. So yeah, she's been a lot more prominent in this camp. I wonder what some of the campaign staff think about that, because how. Okay, now here they are doing this interview. I don't even know who this chick is. What does it say?
Their parents.
No.
The C-suite.
They're enjoying it, though. It's nice to have the family unite.
There again, this is what I was talking about.
Join you on stage, join you.
This is what I was talking about. He's starting to use his wife. She's in a lot of his campaign stops, and now interviews, podcasts. So, is it a good strategy? Is it a little desperate? I don't know. Like, did the polling show it works, or it's I don't know. So this is kind of an interesting interview because they're talking about their kids and that, and they're trying to be like human, I guess, authentic. So like other family people with kids the same age can say, oh, they understand me. Fair enough. And I noticed she slipped in that her daughter's nonverbal. Valentina, her name is, 6 years old, and I actually have something in common with Pierre. I have a daughter who's nonverbal and 6 years old, so I have a fairly good idea although not everybody's the same. I kind of understand their situation better than others. So I was surprised to hear that in this interview. Again, I'm not saying they're using that at all, but maybe she wanted to just say it so in case anybody wondered why she didn't talk, or I don't know. No big deal. I just thought that was interesting. Let's listen to this.
On this crazy adventure. We've seen Cruz and Valentina join you on stage, join you on this crazy adventure. Do they understand what's happening? Do they know why there are thousands of people screaming at their parents?
No, I don't know if you have any idea.
No, they're enjoying it though. It's nice to have the family united. It's 37 days, and I think it was important for the both of us to make sure that we had that family unit. And Cruz is loving it. He's stealing Daddy's microphone.
Yeah, he literally steals the microphone.
So it's nice to have them. And there's 6. Valentina's 6. Cruz is 3. So Valentina is nonverbal, so it's hard to gauge what she really understands. And Cruz is he just thinks everybody's Daddy's friends.
Yeah, that's what he said the other
Valeuales
day.
de mi papa. Valeuales de mi papa. He says all the time.
Yeah, because we were driving past the lineup at our last rally the other day, 2 rallies ago, and he looked out the window and he said, "There's Dad's friends." And so he comes onto the stage, and he does the big walk-in, and then he doesn't want to leave the stage.
He doesn't.
When we get up there. And then he wants the microphone.
Yeah.
He loves the microphone. So pretty soon he'll be giving his own speeches.
That's amazing. And for Valentina, I can imagine your family plays a big role now in terms of taking care of them and being around them with so much going on.
Yeah, so we have Tia Maria, Tia Nena, who's there with us. When the kids are there, she's there because, it's important to have the family united, and she's a huge help. We couldn't do it without her. So
They do take an incredible amount of load off us because we're just running from one thing to the next, and all the little creature comforts and needs of a munchkin, we just physically can't do it. So she helps with feeding them, changing them.
And they feel loved,
Yeah, and it's a family members. It's special to have someone who's part of the family on the road. And I guess that's when you marry a Latin woman, you marry the whole family.
Mm-hmm.
And but we've been very
there's
blessed.
the benefit.
There are big benefits.
All right. So, interesting kind of 2 minutes there. So, he's trying to show he's like trying to be relatable, to average Canadians. I get it. Giving some info on his kids and all that, and the wife, and she's been, like I said, we'll see if the strategy pays off. Okay. Next post. All right. This is a little Canadian history. Canadians here from Ferryman's Toll. The Canadians died in World War II so that Derpinder and Ubuntu could become Canadian, enjoy some heckin' freedom. Canada's Prime Minister during World War II. So this is William Lyon Mackenzie King. He's like our Roosevelt because he was in there forever during World War II and during a lot of important events in Canada, the Depression. And this kind of was the thinking that Canada should desire to restrict immigration from the Orient. Is regarded as natural. That Canada should remain a white man's country is believed to be not only desirable for economic and social reasons, but highly necessary on political and national grounds. I think he means majority or white majority. I don't know, but I kind of put my foot in my mouth because I said they memory hold him because, I never hear anything about William Lyon Mackenzie King ever. And the only thing you ever hear about William Lyon Mackenzie King is that he was he did like seances to talk to his dead mother or something. So they kind of made him look like a kook from when I was learning Canadian history. And you would figure somebody who was in Canadian history during a very important moments, World War II, Depression, all sorts of, Canada was becoming a country more independent from England, UK. So many things going on, and he was such a big figure, and we you barely hear about it. So I said, oh, they memory hold him. But then some guy kind of showed me up. He said, oh no, he's on our $50 bill, so we haven't memory hold him yet. But I totally forgot he's on the $50 bill. So, which probably means I don't have enough $50 bills. I need to make more money. So I said to him, yeah, yes, good catch. Yes. But they don't do any movies. I don't read any books on them. All I know is that he was a weirdo who held seances. One of our longest serving prime ministers. That's all we know about him. But I'm sure there's a book on him somewhere. All right. That's little Canadian history. I'm going to have to get a book on him now that I've started this. I want to read more. If I ever see a book at the thrift store, in the thrift store, bookstore section, I'll have to scoop it up. But Laurier was the same. He talked like this, and obviously John A. But I don't know. We don't seem to have any leaders today that like talk from conviction, whether they're right or wrong. They talk from like either they're puppets or it's from they won't talk unless they poll it. It's really annoying. It's very inauthentic. All right, this is my gas today in Sarnia. A lot of people are saying 104. I don't know what it is right now. I think it went up a little more. But a lot of the country is experiencing I guess Saskatchewan's more. Alberta's 123. Yeah, you think Alberta would be cheaper. All right. All right. Next post. Pierre's new slogan, Axe the Hat. Yeah, that's good. Hat Gate. So, yeah, if you wear a certain type of hat at a conservative rally, they won't let you in. And it's called the Make Canada Great Again hat. Because it's too Trump style. But before they were pushing it, all the influencers on X were pushing it. The Maple MAGA. And now they're ashamed to wear those hats. But I wonder if someone wore Make Israel Great Again hat, would they let them into Pierre's rally? I'm pretty sure they would. Next post. Sorry. I saw this today. It's from the Toronto Star. I hate the Toronto Star, but I said I gotta see what they say. Like, it's an intriguing. The numbers tell the story. Poilievre is in deep trouble. So I think it's not paywalled, so I'm gonna read it quick. In deep trouble. We're going to talk about that. Maybe explain the electoral system here, because it's kind of like the U.S. Like, you have to do kind of like a battle plan, and you have to capture certain areas of the country or combine certain areas of the country to win a majority. So we'll look at that electoral map. But let's see what the Toronto Star. I can't stand the Toronto Star, but I'm still going to read this because I want to know I want to see what they say. I probably won't agree with it, but maybe I will. 3 numbers. Oh. 3 numbers tell the story of the election this week, and none of them looks good for Poilievre. Halfway through the federal election campaign, it's safe to say that things have not unfolded as many predicted they would back in January when Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced his resignation. At the time, there was widespread talk the Liberals are bound to falter, and the Conservatives, led by Pierre Poilievre, were well positioned to make significant gains. Yet here we are in April with Mark Carney at the helm. Overall dynamics have shifted. Now it seems as if this election is the Liberals to lose. Okay. So according to their polling, it shows Liberals with 6-point lead. Nano's poll showed the same. So roughly the same. NDP trailing at 11%. Okay. So at the halfway point, there are three key polling statistics that stand out. Numbers that explain not only why the Liberals are out in front, but also what the Conservatives need to change if they hope to close the gap. So the first thing is Carney's approval rating, or personal, like his approval rating basically is 47% of Canadians have a positive view, and while 28% have a negative. So Carney's negatives have actually dropped since January. So according to the polls, he's doing something right during this campaign, because usually the negatives go up, but his have dropped. So for Conservatives to win, they'll need to knock down Carney's favorability ratings, or at least sow enough doubt about his leadership to push hesitant voters away from the Liberals. So far, that hasn't happened. If the public continues to warm to Carney, it's going to be very difficult for the Conservatives to make meaningful inroads. In most elections, the electorate impression of the party leaders ends up mattering just as much or even more than any policy proposal. This spells a serious challenge for Poilievre going forward. Yeah. So, yeah. Like, Carney has like a 14 point lead on favorability over Pierre. So, that's a big problem. All right. Keynes' desire for change. Okay, I don't know what this one. Liberals' re-elect number has climbed to, so 27% want to see them re-elected. While the portions of Canadians say it's time for a change and believe there's a good alternative, has dropped to 42%. So the change momentum has shifted. Before, there was like this really push for change, directly related to Trudeau's departure and Carney's arrival. Many who saw Trudeau's leadership as the main barrier to giving the Liberals another chance are now taking a second look. All right. So, yeah. So the exit of Trudeau, obviously, and Carney's more favorable. So the number they're going is for momentum is 30% of voters believe Conservatives will win the election on April 28th, 22-point decrease since mid-February. So, yeah, a lot of people started to like jump off the ship and say, before they said they're shoo-in when Justin Trudeau was. So, whatever. It's the Toronto Star. Of course, they're gonna say this about Pierre. But I think the bigger problem for him is Ontario. He's doing well in the other, except for Quebec, he's doing well in the West. But Ontario is the big prize, and it's not, the polls don't look good for him there. So this is the Nanos poll. Daily poll. (43.3%), 37.1. So yeah, that's a little over 6 points. Should be. And here's the map for Ontario, or for Canada. So this is like an electoral map. And each riding is like a congressional seat. And this is the projection based on the polls. So you see it's like the red and blue states and the states. But they're not doing, the Conservatives are strong in Alberta and Saskatchewan, but they need to be strong in Ontario to even have a chance. Oh, which right now they're not. And Quebec, they're not doing well. And the East Coast, they're not doing well, although there's not that many seats in the East Coast. The big prize is Ontario, and they're, unless they do a big reversal in Ontario, the Liberals will probably get through just because they have the Quebec, they have the East Coast, and even BC, they're doing pretty well in BC. A bunch of commies out there in BC. Crazy. So Randy Hillier's trying to give us people who are not familiar with the Canadian election system. I'm familiar with it. I 100% understand it, but I sometimes assume others know about it. So I kind of get ahead of it. So Canadians don't understand that, unlike in the USA, we don't have what Canadians don't understand. We don't have one election for, probably the Canadians don't understand. We don't have an election for a PM, but 343. I don't know how many ridings are. The popular vote means diddly squat in Canadian elections. The Conservatives need to win 100 of those ridings east of Manitoba to have a shot, and that's not happening. The election will be called before the polls close in Manitoba. This is what the polls are showing. For Conservatives to ever win, they need to have competitive NDP in every riding east of Manitoba and a competitive BQ in Quebec. Jughead's failure amplifies Pierre's election failures. Vote your conscience. Yeah, that's another thing this election. The NDP's totally fallen, like collapsed support. It's like it was like a controlled demolition, like they said, like it's like they got bought out, they got paid to throw the match. Or maybe they're just bereft of any ideas or enthusiasm. And then, but the more interesting thing is the BQ, their support is totally cratered. Like Carney's doing well in Quebec, which is weird. He doesn't speak great French, but I guess the French like him. The Quebecers like him. They like what he's telling them. So it's crazy. Like, so without the Bloc or the NDP to drag votes out of the Liberals, full steam ahead for the Liberals there. A little help from the smaller parties. And even the Greens aren't doing nothing. Like, you don't hear the Liberals bitching about the Greens splitting the vote. It's like all the three other parties that would the Liberals could bleed votes to have gone like totally comatose this election. It's hilarious. How convenient. Okay. This is a good post. Imagine telling your doctor your favorite drink is Coke and they say you're diabetic and must switch to Pepsi. You'd think the doctor was retarded. That's how our political system works. We keep switching between Coke and Pepsi. Yeah, liberal, conservative, Coke and Pepsi. It's a little bit different. The Coke and the Pepsi taste a little bit different, but they're pretty well both going to kill you. All right, next post. So this one's still going around. This dude got kicked out of the hat gate, I call it. got kicked out of the, or they wouldn't let him into the rally because of his hat. Viva Frey. Canadian wearing Make Canada Great Again hat kicked out of Pierre Poilievre rally. And I take crap for stating the obvious. This is a terrible campaign tactic for the Conservative Party. So I thought I got a lot of flack for bitching about this too. And one of the main excuses, because these guys, they make excuses for their guy, for their candidate. They got to protect him with all these excuses. And they're just like, oh, we can't let them into the... All right, first of all, they say Pierre isn't afraid, because I said he's hiding from the media. When I say he's hiding, I mean he's trying to keep him away. He's trying to control him. He's trying to fight with him. Instead of owning him like Trump does, he's trying to be like a little schoolgirl with him. Catty schoolgirl. So that's all I said. But conservative supporters say, he isn't afraid of the media. Okay. So basically, on one line, they're saying he's not afraid of the media. And then the other side, they're saying he doesn't want people wearing those... Oh, God, look at this typo, those gays, because the media will write about it. So which one is it? I don't know where the hell that... Ooh, I better delete that. I meant hats. Anyway, it's like, Pierre doesn't want people wearing those hats because the media will write about it. So it's like, are you afraid of the media or you're not afraid? Because if you weren't afraid, you wouldn't care if they wrote about the hats. That's my point. But I put gays instead of hats. It must be autocorrect. I'm going to delete that. Sorry, guys. People are wondering, like, what the... I think people knew I meant hats. All right. Next post. The Green Party doesn't have the 90% candidates needed or the 5% in the polls. So if they're going to exclude the PPC, then the Greens should not be allowed in the same debates either. Yeah, well, we were just talking. I just was mentioning how the Green Party has been like non-existent in this campaign. Nobody's complaining about them siphoning off votes. So why, like, who's going to be there at the debate? Are they going to both show up? Like, it's hilarious. It's so, if anybody, not allowing them into the debate and not having PPC is retarded. But that's the situation we're in right now. It's crazy. Like, I'm not saying PPC should be in the debate. I think they should be, but if you're going to be fair, you should kick the Green people out. I don't even know how they have a seat, to be honest. I really don't know. Next point. Next post. This is... Ooh. I saw this. I thought this is interesting. This is some random person. Liberalism is a mental okay. Oh, they got a lot of followers. So it's a conservative girl or something. She says, "Hey, liberals, Pierre Poilievre's 6-year-old is nonverbal. Has it ever crossed your minds that why he doesn't want journalists on his bus? Would you want that for your child?" And then I don't think that I said I don't, because I said I have a. So I don't think this is the case. Like, I don't think he has them on the bus anyway, so I don't think that's the reason he's keeping the journalists off the bus. Most kids that age would be totally bored of that bus after, like, the first trip. So it's not really a place for kids, and it's basically a rolling workplace, which is probably not suitable for little kids to hang out every day. Maybe, one day they'd be on the bus, but not like every day. It'd be boring as hell for them. And I guess I have some in common with Pierre. I'm sure they're great parents. good luck to them. But yeah, I don't think that's the reason the journalists aren't allowed on the bus. I think this conservatives just, they make excuses. Like, they're so defensive, these conservatives. They're like, you can't criticize anything because you're a liberal. Oh, you're a liberal supporter if you criticize anything that Pierre does. Meanwhile, he's making all these policy announcements, how broken Canada is. And he never mentions immigration. Like, Canadians do not want to be flooded with immigrants and refugees because it costs a lot of money. It's going to bankrupt the country and basically destroy the social fabric of the country. And he doesn't talk about it at all, just like when COVID was around. And granted, he wasn't the leader of the party at the time, but he was silent as a mouse on COVID. Silent as a mouse on immigration. At the time of the elections, even in pre-election, when he could have honed the message. So that's where we're at. Again, with the kids and the wife being up front in the campaign, I don't know, is that desperation or is it just good strategy? I don't think it's good strategy. I think a candidate, it's one thing to have your wife and the kids here and there, like, just to say people, hey, I got a family. People, not everybody, some people can, I can't be that bad. But to have them all the time front and center for the rest of the election could backfire. I don't know if Anita is going to be around for the whole camp. It looks like she's digging in the way she's talking. So that's where we are. So just poll watching and see what happens until the debates. And then we still got all the mess to deal with Canada once this stupid election's over with. It's like this election's in the way of getting on with things. The post-Trudeau era. Well, are we going to go globalist? Go for the full Monty globalist? Or are we going to make a U-turn and go back to the Canadian that we all knew and loved? We'll find out after the election. And that's it. Well, I guess I'd be remiss not to mention that the other big part of today, I'm not that big. I don't really care, to be honest. But there's Ben Mulrooney. Oh my gosh. Ben Mulrooney, his radio show. I don't listen to him, but good luck to him. This is my opinion, the most significant endorsement for Pierre Poilievre and the CPC yet. Do your own research into signatories and the respective companies. These are Canadian titans. I don't know if they're titans, but who have for decades invested in our communities and helped build our economy. Those on the left wanting this to be a resume measuring contest have officially lost that battle. So basically a bunch of Canadian businessmen signed a letter supporting Pierre or endorsing Pierre. So here we are. It's like the election in the States. The endorsements now. We are celebrity endorsements, now business endorsements. So, yeah, whatever. There's a few businessmen here. But there's a lot that aren't on there. So, I don't think this is going to turn the polls around for Pierre. Let's just say that much. Some good business, big name businesses. Prem Watts, I've talked to him before. I'm sure they like Pierre because he'll probably lower their taxes, which is fine, I guess. It's fair enough, fair enough. All right. That's it. Kind of boring. I think that's the Carney strategy. Bore the electorate, just lull them to not get riled up and just, oh, this guy's running, then let's let him be. He's like, that's a strategy, is to bore the shit out of everybody in a way that they're satisfied, but they don't care. They don't want to listen to him. Like he has that weird ability to. And then when he deals with Trump, he'll do the same. He'll bore Trump. Trump will be like, all right, let's just give the deal so I can get away from this guy. So it could be an interesting strategy. We'll see what Carney and them are up to tomorrow. Until then, everybody have a nice night. We'll see you tomorrow.